WTIM.
Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station. Back around with the morning show here. Joining me now are members of Kaufman Realty and Auction. Really, I should say owners of Kaufman Realty and Auction, business partners, however they want to look at it. I'll let them tell us here in just a moment. I have Matt Corso and Jeremy Pyatt with Kaufman Realty and Auctions here on the morning show, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. To the both of you, good morning, Matt and Jeremy.
Hello. Good morning.
Great to have you guys on here today and to talk a little bit about something that is unique to me. I don't know a whole lot about the auction space and some of the services that are offered. So I'd love to start there in the services that you guys offer and what you bring to the community and those looking to sell.
Problem solving. Yeah. If you got something to sell, we have multiple ways to sell it. Real estate, contents, firearms. We like doing those.
We really sell a little bit of everything. We're both realtors. So we sell real estate traditionally. We sell real estate at auction. We sell land. Like Jeremy said, then it is anything that somebody may have, any asset. We give you all the options that you have available to you. And we do try to solve your problem. Jeremy is actually very good with selling firearms. That's why he brings it up. He's got a great knowledge base of it. He may like to buy as much as he likes to sell.
It's a problem.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I could see that. For you guys, and if you could help me understand it, when somebody comes to you, let's say with a firearm and says, I've got this 12 gauge shotgun, I don't know, a Mossberg, is that a thing? Did I combine two guns? Maybe I did.
You're all right.
Yeah, you're good. So far, so good.
So I got a shotgun, right? And I'm looking for no less than $3,000 on it. Just totally random number.
That's a nice Mossberg.
That'd be a really
nice Mossberg.
That's a really nice shotgun. This is why you're the guy for it, right? Not me. But I want to make $3,000, right? And let's say it sells for $2,600. How does that kind of go? Is there a minimum that they're willing to auction it off for? Is that what the starting price comes in at? Or how does that kind of work in terms of, I've got this gun, this is how much I roughly want to make? What's the process from there?
Yeah, there can be what we call them reserves in the auction business. And, we work with the sellers to, if they're wanting to protect an item like that, to come up with something reasonable, do research. This is, what it usually brings. This is what you can expect. And if at the end of the day, if that's what you're comfortable with, then that's how we'll do it.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're kind of going off of market value as much as you are in terms of this is what you want. Well, okay, that's what a lot of people want, but this is what you're going to actually do.
Exactly.
Right. Which would probably be the conversation if you said I have a $3,000 Mossberg. We may say you might have to readjust your expectations.
Maybe. Nothing against Mossbergs, but
nothing
there's
against
a lot of them.
I exposed how little I know about guns, and that's okay.
That's fine.
I'm willing to do that because that would be why I would call upon somebody like yourself. So
absolutely.
Let's say I've got a home for auction as well. What's the difference in terms of auctioning off of a piece of land or a home compared to just the traditional route of selling it, saying this is what I want, this is what I plan to get?
Yeah, really, that's a conversation that we have with people. We try to look at, what goals are you trying to achieve? What's the time frame that you have in it? Sometimes we can say, okay, we can take this to auction and we could possibly get it sold quicker than what you would in a traditional route. With residential homes right now, for us, we are seeing certain homes that we can sell them, sometimes with multiple offers, quicker than we can market it and take it to auction. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we achieve whatever the seller's goal is and the time frame that they want to do it in. Sometimes that is going, hey, let's take 30 days, take it to auction, and then do it from there. With auction, it would be contingent free. It's typically sold as is. So there's a few less things that people have to go through. So if that fits their needs, then we do that. If a traditional route fits their needs, then we do that. A lot of times with land, it's much more commonplace to have that sold at auction. So we typically would recommend that just because that's what people are used to. You're going to have a lot of people competing for it. So it's a easier way for us to sort that out.
And with that competition, I mean, I have to imagine you're kind of at either somebody's going to help you and they're going to keep bumping that up, or sometimes somebody's just going to fall out of that auction and just be done with it. As somebody that's not been to an auction, what kind of maybe fees, what kind of challenges can there be bringing something to auction? Where do you go to auction these things off? And how does that kind of go in terms of where you establish, hey, this is what we're going to do from here and what the plan is? Where do you take that then, basically?
Most of what we do is online.
Pretty much all online.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And we have a good website, a good reach, and then our marketing. We have tackle it various ways through WTIM, of course, online through social media, and trying to get as many eyes as possible on the assets that we're trying to move. And that's another advantage of marketing or of auctioning is our active attempts to market that asset and get as many eyes as possible on it to drive the price up as high as we can for our seller.
Sure. And where you're not kind of fighting other listings or other things. It's just like, here's what is being listed here too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got a call this week, for instance, and it was about, selling a bus. This bus it's not like your traditional school bus. It's a little bit different. And the part of it has some wider appeal to people. And within a day of us just putting out to a few spots that we wanted to market to, we've got several people on from, registered for the auction already. Auction's not for like another 30 days when it would end. And they're from 3 or 4 states, right? So it gets good exposure. But we can control the process, right? You're not going to get all these people sending you a message saying, "Is this still available?
Yeah.
Would you take a trade for it?"
Yeah.
It's slightly different than that.
I think part of it too with that bus in particular, the folks that were selling it don't really know what to ask for it. Yeah. The best way to find out what it's worth is to auction it and have people compete, and they'll tell you what it's worth at the end of the day.
It's worth as much as what somebody's willing to pay for.
Exactly.
100%. Yep.
And this is all these questions are coming from a guy that knows nothing. So that's why I'm asking.
We'll get you signed up before we leave.
There you go.
Right.
Let's say a piece of land, a parcel of land.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that works in terms of selling online, or is that something generally somebody actually wants to come see? It works online then.
Absolutely. I started in the auction business in 2004. And we were into doing online auctions then, but just a lot of traditional live auctions at the time. And there were always things where people would say, well, this would work online, but not these things. And, real estate would never work, or, farm equipment would never work. And then the truth is, it all works online. That people are very comfortable now going online and making large purchases, sometimes sight unseen.
Yeah.
Now, when we sell real estate, we do like them to see the property, but it's we'll give them a virtual tour. I've went out to a piece of land and walked it, and FaceTimed with somebody, and that's how they're making their decisions. So, yeah, it happens all the time.
And that leads to something that I was kind of wondering about is kind of like a virtual tour, or a whole lot of pictures, of course, and some other things like that. But it sounds like you're also willing to get out there and go, hey, this is what I'm here for. I'm here to sell this piece. I'm here to sell this parcel.
We're basically willing to do anything to get something sold.
So if you're FaceTiming somebody, I'd be willing to bet you're probably about there. So if I come to you and I say, all right, this is what I've got, this is what I want to sell it for roughly, this is what I think the market value would be, this is how quickly I want to sell it, you're actually hoping somebody will come and tell you those things rather than somebody coming to you and telling you, this is what I've got, I don't really know much about it, what can you do? Is there a preference on somebody that's really kind of understanding of where they want to be with it? Or is there a preference in somebody that you can kind of say, hey, look, this is roughly what you're going to get? Do you enjoy doing the assessments, or do you enjoy somebody coming to you and telling you, hey, this is roughly what we want to do?
It's a tough question.
I don't know that I've ever been asked that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say for me, it's kind of either way.
Okay.
Sometimes when somebody comes to you and says, this is what I want, this is what I know, it can be difficult if they're really above value on it. So you have to have difficult conversations, but our job is to come with them with a lot of data that shows that. You know, uh, maybe sometimes different. I don't know. Maybe in like the firearms world or something. If there's so much like all these values out there and things. Jeremy has a great knowledge of that, so he might like going through it with people and saying, "Here's what we've seen." We can look back on it. I don't know. But,
yeah, it's fun sometimes, and then sometimes people are pretty convinced what it's worth.
Yeah, and that was basically where that question's coming from.
Yeah.
Where we'll go back to the $3,000 Mossberg.
Yeah.
Hey, no, that's not worth that. But in my mind, it is.
Right.
So then you're kind of tackling two issues where it's like, okay, now I got to get to this person and tell them that's never going to sell for that price, and also now you've got to somehow try and meet them in the middle. Or
or at the end of the day, if you're not going to be happy if it sells for what I think market price is, then keep it.
right.
Will you be happier keeping it?
Yeah, and we've seen people go, if you can't give me this, I'm going to go somewhere else. So understand, they go somewhere else, they get less, and then come back and go, hey, maybe you should have listened to what you had to say.
I don't like to say I told you so, though.
Right,
You do all the time. Just kidding.
Because I'm a terrible person.
Nah.
But it's not about that. Like, that also builds our credibility then, because those people could go, you know what, I went somewhere else, told me what I wanted to hear. I should have listened to those guys. And I don't want to be the guy where I went, yeah, it's worth $3,000. Sure, we'll sell it. And then we hand you a check for $500 and you go, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah. And just things that I'm thinking of here where it's like, I could see where there's some hurdles sometimes with some folks out there. And so
Sure.
Thanks for kind of breaking it down for me. We will take our first break. I've got Matt Corso and Jeremy Pyatt with Kaufman Realty and Auctions talking about all their services, real estate, and explaining a lot of things that maybe I should already know. But that's what we're here for today. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville.
WTIM. WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, with our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm Grayson Bauman, and joining us back around here in this segment is both Jeremy Pyatt and Matt Corso with Kaufman Realty and Auctions. And I'm done having them entertain me on my silly questions. We'll get to some of the things that need to be said here. And one of those is the difference between traditional brokerage and also the online services that are offered, but making sure that folks know we're offering both. What can you tell me about the difference and just kind of break that down for me?
Yeah, I mean, we like to say with us that you have options, right? So if you have a property, we want to give you all your options. Obviously, people are very familiar with what a traditional real estate brokerage is like. Jeremy and I are both realtors. We're also both auctioneers. And for us, it's a matter of just sitting down with our sellers and saying, okay, what works best for your property, whatever that is. So we do it both ways. We, sell things both ways. We, enjoy doing it both ways. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just not about like the avenue for us. It's about what attains the highest value for our seller, meets their needs. And that's what we're going to do.
Highest value could be through an auction, but it could be through the real estate side of things too. So,
and that's why we want to make sure we offer, as many services as we can. Because again, it's not about us going, well, we're auctioneers and we're better to, than the other people because we do it this way, or we're realtors and we're better than, auctioneers. It's just what makes the most sense for our clients.
But it sounds like to me, you guys probably get a pretty good response then in terms of the honesty up front, rather than coming to me with a $500 check when I thought I was going to get this amount.
Absolutely.
Probably takes away some of your issues, I guess, in terms of, look, no, this is what I already told you, and some people probably fight back, I'm sure. But also that honesty up front is probably very appreciated.
Yeah. And I think, for us, one of the things that we want to do is no matter what the asset is, whether it's a piece of real estate or if it's some sort of personal property or other asset, we do our due diligence, make sure we understand. Jeremy was talking during the break about, we have a large network of people that we work with within our own company. We cover a multitude of states. We post in a forum, say, hey, we have this. What's it worth? Or even calling each other and saying, okay, you know more about this particular asset type than I do. Jeremy knows way more about firearms than I do. I like them. I own them. I've sold them, but his knowledge base is better. Or even, talking about a vehicle. Hey, do you think we could get this? What is it? Let's talk about it.
In this last minute here, sorry to cut you off there.
I was just going to say, I blame Marketplace. I stare at Marketplace too much.
Me too. So glad to know I'm not the only one then. You set that local radius and you go, oh my God. Anyway, we got about a minute here. So I'd love for you guys to get your information out there, how people can reach you and what services that you're able to help with. We already talked a little bit about that, but in this last minute here, if you could just kind of give us another rundown and how to get a hold of you folks.
Yeah. So it's Kaufman Realty and Auction. We do both traditional real estate brokerage and all types of auctions, all asset types. You can find us at www.kaufmanrealty.com, or you can reach us by phone, me at 217-820-0164.
Or me at 217-553-0822.
I was really nervous he was going to make me remember his cell phone, and I was drawing a blank on
No one does
800
that. No one
number.
remembers numbers anymore.
Right.
No, not anymore.
Just
Yeah.
Google us. You'll find us.
You'll find some information on either Matt Corso or Jeremy Pyatt with Kaufman Realty and Auctions. Go online, find out those phone numbers, and get a hold of them if you've got something worth selling. You're listening to WTIM, your information station. Thank you to both of you for joining me here. And thank you to People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville for bringing you the second segment of our morning show.
WTIM.